Good evening and welcome to the Waking Lions podcast, episode 3.
Indeed. 3, how you doing?
I'm good, how you doing?
Not bad, yeah.
Excellent.
Interesting journey in just now.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're saying about these headlights now, aren't they? About the headlight, the new law and the rules regarding headlights being too bright.
I
thought I was getting old, but so they come towards you really bright, right, have some of this.
Yeah.
Then they put their full beams on. It's like a flipping tractor coming towards you.
Mm.
But you would think, wouldn't you? Manufacturers build cars these days. You get an MOT done, they check your lights up and down.
Yeah.
You would think manufacturers automatically do that. When they supply and build a car, be a thing.
Yeah.
No. They send them out the brightest lights imaginable.
Yeah.
That's my wins of the night anyway so far.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can totally relate with that. Like, I actually, it's one of the funny things, having all these lights in front of me, I was mentioning this last week, it's like, I'm actually fairly sensitive to light. I used to actually have filter glasses for it at one point, and like at night driving with the xenon lights and that, my God, it's like burning into my retina on the way past. So I really do like those old like VW vans and that come past with like proper
orange,
like
proper light bulb, proper filaments.
Yeah. Which is weird because our near side dim bulb went on the way back as well. Funnily enough, you just reminded me I've got to get that replaced, so we'll be going down to Blease. Checking out hello to Ryan. You'll have some work for Ryan and boys.
All your automotive needs.
Indeed, I would always suggest them actually. They are very good at what they do down there, and they've kept our car running really nicely, funnily enough.
Trying to find a good mechanic is a nightmare.
It is difficult, but luckily we've got a few of them down here. There's no doubt.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What's on for this evening, Leo?
Well, I mean, it was going to be, we've got a few things, but obviously Three Eye Atlas is probably like the biggest, not just physically, but like the biggest implicatory.
Size of Manhattan, apparently.
Apparently so, yes.
More intelligent life on it as well.
Yes. Well, we've got a bit about Three Eye Atlas. We have also a little bit about the never-ending clown world behaviour of our UK PM, MPs, mayors, mainstream media. It continues. It never ends.
Doesn't get any better. And you couldn't make it up.
I was going to say something like someone really obscure or something, maybe the worst Philip K. Dick Acid like dream novel. But no, you couldn't actually. I'm not assuming he could do it. We also do have a little bit of an update on the old Charlie Kirk situation, which continues to roll on. And of course, we've had big news from Caster Das and his team of untouchables. Just call him Elliot Ness, baby. He's taken down the mafioso. So stick with us because we got plenty to get through tonight. But it's not going to be 4 hours. I'll just say that at the beginning.
I was so hungry last week. I got back. I was having to raid the cupboards for food.
Same here. Straight upstairs, munching down. And
then, of course, you're wide awake, aren't you, as well? Everyone else in the house ready to go to bed at 11:30. There's us.
It certainly didn't help that I had to go to my brother's wedding the next day, even Nottingham.
So considerate. Why would you do that?
Drive. But no, it was actually a nice drive. Other than they closed the M5 while we were driving on it, but there you go.
Oh, how does that work? You drive on it and just close it down. You have to stop.
Yeah, as we're going along. The exit that ideally, really, I wanted to take, there's a guy putting up a barrier at it. And next to him is a lorry with the arrow with the other dudes putting out cones.
You ain't going up there, mate.
Yeah, and they just take us to the next exit none of us wanted to go off on and put us off that one into, like, Stourbridge.
Ooh.
So, whereas I'd actually just wanted to do, like, the straight sort of M5, M42 thing, no, I ended up having to go, like, all the way through Stourbridge over to the M6 and then down the M1.
Oh, yeah, I not want to go to Stourbridge. I not want to go up there, my friend. What are yams?
Yeah, it was less than desirable occasionally, but actually in the actual practicality of it, actually quite nice. It was quite scenic. It was nice to have a little drive around Stourbridge again.
Bit of a break from normality.
Yeah, well, normality, is it really?
No, it's just life. It's just fantasy, as Queen once sang.
Well, yeah, that was one of the tunes played at the reception at the wedding, and then I was thinking about it, just like, really, where are we in reality?
No escape from reality.
Absolutely. I mean, in a way, it would be good to escape from reality.
It would do, wouldn't it?
Absolute insanity that continues to go on.
It's not even virtual insanity anymore to paraphrase
No, yeah, exactly. We can't even do our little sort of mime dancing.
You could do it in the studio, couldn't you, actually? Sort of little room that goes backwards and forwards. And...
Who is that guy? Do you remember in the Farce show, their version of Jamiroquai? It's like,
vaguely,
yeah, my father was a Papua New Guinean, Israeli, Hungarian, Jewish poet, and my mum was and is the breeze. Can you hear her whispering? Hello, Mum.
It's repeating itself. It's all the Israeli stuff. It's just go for a big loop.
Yeah. It's funny that actually.
Can't get away from them.
It's funny because that does kind of tie in. I wasn't intending it.
No, well, there you go. What a segue.
It's weird how it all ties in.
The man's a pro, ladies and gentlemen. The man's a pro.
Yeah, well, I mean,
what do you know?
Wait for it. I haven't even started yet. I've still got a few pages to go. Although, luckily, as you'll see, my pages are they're not as copious as last week. Like, the segments are actually considerably smaller.
Very true.
Obviously, we have covered a whole bunch of stuff last week.
Yeah, we're going to run out. I don't think we will in this country.
No, doubtful.
There'll be something.
Yeah, even just in this country alone, even if we didn't go abroad and do overseas news. But again, I would suggest that if anyone finds anything throughout this, if this is your first time joining us, if you weren't here last week, then take a look. You don't necessarily have to watch the whole 4-hour stream in one chunk because it splits up into smaller chunks.
Indeed.
Which some of them are still, one of them's like 1 hour 43 minutes, but
I know.
They're still smaller chunks, and they will give you a bit more of a heads up on some of the things that we're leading into, or it leads into some of the things that we'll be talking about today. So, I mean, given that we're on the target for not making it 4 hours, we might as well just kind of get the 3-Eye Atlas thing. We
might as well
get that one wrapped up a bit because, last time I checked, we're still here.
Last time I checked, it was behind the sun recharging, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's what they say. It's snuck behind.
It is kind of behind the sun. It's reaching, so today/tomorrow, like tonight, 29th to 30th.
Armageddon.
It's supposed to be reaching its perihelion.
Yeah.
And for those that want to know what a perihelion is,
sounds painful.
Yeah, well, it's where
that.
It can be painful, actually. I mean, especially if you're trying to pull some maneuver slightly like this in Elite Dangerous, and you get a bit too close, and instead of picking up fuel, you start burning out your shields and losing all your cargo, which I've done a couple of times. Let's be honest.
You don't be doing that.
Yeah. Don't we all do that in Elite Dangerous once in a while? But no, yeah, so it's the closest point that it's going to reach to our sun, on its way past the sun, on its trajectory as it's been going across the plane of the transversal plane of our solar system, where it's gone past multiple planets, in a planar fashion, rather than just going straight up through, and only seeing one or two, which is why it has had some interest. And obviously we covered a lot of things on this last week and mentioned how it's not just the sort of tinfoil hat wearing or Mr. AJ himself, Voldemort, he who shall not be named. It's actually verified, credible people talking about this. And we did mention a couple of them that, I went back and, I didn't go back actually. They have been back on it, in the last couple of days talking about it. Yeah, so Avi Loeb being one
Indeed.
of them, and
how credible is he, though? I mean, he's one of these, experts they wheel out, don't they? When this sort of thing happens, they go and dust him off, wheel him out. He says his piece and then gets put back in his cupboard again. For 3 or 4 years.
I'd say he's probably about as credible as former D-Ream keyboardist Brian Cox. Professor Brian Cox. Yeah, for anyone out in the States out there.
To be fair, though, he explains things in very easy to manage ways. Brian Cox,
but a lot of what he explains is nonsense. I watched him spinning eggs, trying to explain how rotations of planets, gravity, and spheroids work, and I'm like, well, you might want to start with something that is actually going to rotate on an axis that is not completely
going to keep falling over all the
exactly time. He was trying to explain the fundamental principle that using eggs will not explain. It is actually the stupidest way of doing it.
I mean, the planets are ovoid, but not as ovoid as an egg.
Exactly, yeah. And he was a former keyboardist for a band called D-Ream who did a song called Things Can Only Get Better,
Labour's theme tune,
which incidentally was the theme tune of whose campaign?
Was it 97, Blair?
Tony Blair.
Whoa.
We're back to him again. Master of the Fabian arts, Tony Blair.
We've got to discuss the Fabians, I think, in a few weeks' time.
Yes, we do. We do have to do a bit on that. But yes, so Avi Loeb being one of the main proponents of talking about this as I suppose an authority, because he is quite well regarded within the sort of whole astronomical.
Ooh,
yep. So I was about to go with Russell.
It's like naturists and naturalists.
Yeah, you don't want to mix them up.
No.
Definitely not. Because I hear naturalists can be naturalists. Oh, fantastic! It's going incredibly well already.
They give him a hard time.
You know what? Let me put my teeth back in. We'll have a little look see at Avi Loeb here, because I say he's been back on the telly because it's filtered down to the normies now, right? You know, it's filtered down to the normies, where this is care of what is essentially mid-morning mimosa news channel, where you got these two ladies who wearing very nice dresses. You expect them to be drinking a mimosa.
The menopause channel.
Kind of. Well, they're younger than that, but they're just the sort you expect with a couple of cocktails sat there again. And after we've talked about this poodle that we've given a lovely pedicure to, we're now going to go over to Avi Loeb. So
Exactly.
again,
really scanned, is it?
because of the nature of this, right? We're going to pop this on, let him have a little chat, because he might be able to explain a few things that we went into last week a little better. Given he's supposedly an expert,
astrologist.
And
no, not astrologist. What is it?
You did it as well, and the reason I did that as well,
Russell Grant, isn't he?
I posted a comment on flipping YouTube, and it corrected it, auto-corrected it to astrologist, and people jumped on me. I'm like, oh, God's sake, I do know the difference, but now it's stuck in my mind. Just like last week, how I kept on saying George Farmer instead of Michael Farmer, and also yards. For some reason, I had yards stuck in my head when talking about the distance from Charlie Kirk. It's I'm mixing up my units of measurement here. There's something like the Wild West was in my head, 20 paces or something. Yeah. But I'll try my best not to mix them up here. But here's Avi Loeb on like I say, what seems to be mid-morning mimosa. We can have a little listen to him to describe where we're at. Basically, I think this morning / last night. With what's happening with
it's getting close. Apparently it's getting close.
Well, it is in its perihelion right now. It should be. And I looked out the window, still can't see it. Not where you should do, because it's behind the sun.
Yeah.
But we'll let him do a little bit of description here. We might pop in, make a few comments as he goes. But for the benefit of everyone, it's probably worth listening to who we're being told is one of the top
authority.
An authority indeed. Let's see what Avi has to say about this.
3-eye atlas. That's the correct way to pronounce it, correct?
Yes, it is. The name is simply that it refers to the third interstellar object from outside the solar system that is visiting us. Only the third in history, because just over the past decade we had the survey telescopes to find such things. And Atlas is a telescope 0.5 meter in diameter in Chile that discovered it on July 1st.
Which, as you'll know, is something we mentioned last week, is that we've only just started developing the technology to be able to
for
pick these
us to
things
discuss it as we approach Halloween.
Avi, first of all, we love talking to you because you always have great
hold
insights.
on a second. So I'm just going to pause for a second there. It's just very fitting to discuss this as we approach Halloween. I thought, because I think there's some interesting things in these, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like I said last week, I'm on the rational side of things with this. This is very likely a massive chunk of space debris from something that exploded really close to the galactic, core. And we have no idea what it looks, sounds, or feels, or does. Looks like any of this. So, but to turn around and say, Halloween, woo, spooky.
Well, they've probably got a segment coming up about Halloween pumpkin carving, I expect.
Well, this is exactly what I mean about the mid-morning mimosa. They were probably just doing a segment on carving a pumpkin before this, and how to use the rest of it for a mimosa, a pumpkin mimosa, right? So, but yeah, this is the thing, though. One, what's science fiction got to do with Halloween? Right, they're two separate things. People keep on mixing this up, right? But also, scaremongering, the fear economy again. We're coming back to fear economics. But let's let him continue, right?
So much for doing this,
and you make it easy to understand, which is nice.
And we talked to you, I think it was earlier this month.
It makes it easy to understand, especially when you're hammered on 16 mimosas at 6 in the morning.
The same topic, but there's some new information now in terms of photos that have been released. What have we learned so far because of these new photos?
Well, the sharpest photo we had was from the Hubble Space Telescope, and it showed a glow in front of the object towards the sun, rather than what we see usually around comets, where you see an extension of a cometary tail that goes away from the sun because dust and gas are being pushed by the solar radiation and wind.
Okay, so there's what we were saying last week, and there's the photo that we covered last week from Tiago, Dobsonian Power, who is still covering this subject himself.
It's at least 1,000 times more massive than the previous 2 interstellar objects. So the question was...
so he's saying it's the size of Manhattan as well, apparently.
It followed the trajectory that was aligned with the planets around the sun, so perhaps it's on some reconnaissance mission. And most recently, we noticed over the month of September that the glow is changing direction. It's now in both directions, towards the sun and away from the sun. We obtained a very high-resolution image from the HiRISE camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. That's a mission that NASA launched a while ago, and that camera should give us an even crispier image than
even
the one
crispier.
from the...
Even crispier, and yes, it should, but where's the images at, bro?
That's what I'm going to release.
That's what I mean. Like, okay, so I don't know if I've got a clip for this, because it was like literally, because again, breaking news is all like within the last day or so, and I'm like catching up with something earlier today where Tiago posted breaking news: NASA released like a new picture they took of 3i Atlas, and they showed the picture. It's just like a smear,
Yeah.
at like 144p.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what the hell, man? Like that's guys. Anyway, let's let him get through
telescope by a
this.
factor of 3. So we are waiting for that. The problem is the image was taken on October 2nd, and that's a day after the government shut down, and the claim is that because of the shutdown...
Well, again, this is where we were at the end, or in the crossover points, like I mentioned, over certain things don't only happen for one reason.
Anything on there?
View of the object.
Yeah, it's absolutely pitiful, isn't it? Like, that is absolutely pitiful for what we're supposed to be able to capture. Mind you, application, okay? Like, so things like the James Webb Telescope and the Hubble Telescope are not designed to track things moving at 30 miles a second. Right?
Maybe they should.
Still, you would expect there are plenty of other things. The ISS is out there.
Stuff up there.
There's enough stuff on the ISS, I would wager, to be able to capture this thing. Even a damn handy cam out the port. You know what I mean? Out the porthole would do better.
That's what we do with our own spacecraft. And so the question is, will it appear on a different path after passing close to the sun? And of course, if that happens, you know, the stock market may crash, because it would mean that...
Okay, so yeah.
Just trying to follow the logical progression there. So if it goes where it shouldn't do, the stock market will crash.
Exactly. Okay, so like just to fill you in on there, what Loeb is saying, right, is that like we're watching it very carefully. As he mentioned, in fact, Michio Kaku, we'll talk about this a bit more in the next clip, right, is the idea that it's building up energy around the sun. Now, there's two things to bear in mind here, or there's one element of, there's two factors involved. Is it building up energy, right, or is it building up momentum velocity? Right, because they're two different things.
Yeah.
Again, in Elite Dangerous, like, if you're fuel scooping, essentially you're picking up energy as you go around. Like, that's energy to then be generated. You would otherwise have to generate or whatever. Okay, whereas momentum and velocity, that's what I believe they're actually trying to get at here. Which is again why one does have to question like the veracity of these so-called like qualifications. Like, come on, like, let's be a bit more clear about this. I know he's trying to put it in layman's terms to the two drunk girls on mimosas, right? But even at that, I know Karens that can grasp this concept that when you go round the sun, right? I mean, look, this is the point. Many people have seen Star Trek Forward Voyage Home, right? They know this concept. It's the birth effect, right? So you come up to the sun and you're accelerating towards the sun. You let it pull you into its gravitational pull, and then use a blast of energy to get you out and slingshot itself you out. So that's what they're looking for as an observation here, and that's what they're looking for changing trajectory and whatever. Now, if it did that, right, to say that the stock market's going to crash, well, look, he will explain that in a minute, but I mean,
some
it is a bit of a stretch,
I'll be interested to see where he's putting his money.
However,
Well,
it continues along its original path. It could still be.
To be fair, that's something that should be looked into. Maybe look at what Nancy Pelosi's up to.
Maneuver. So we should keep our eyes on this ball of light to figure out whether it's natural or technological. Often, in science, we don't face a situation where what we discover has implications to our daily life. And this is a very unusual case where, even if the risk is small, if you say it's most likely a rock, it could have huge
It's most
consequences.
likely, most naturally. Do you see what I mean again?
Yeah.
You see what I mean again here? So, let's talk all this big news of, stock market crash, end of the world.
And it's a rock.
Yeah, it's probably just a freaking rock, man.
It's going to get nowhere near us.
If it's not a rock, so therefore we have to discuss that as a possible, a black swan event that we haven't anticipated.
What does that mean, like a black swan event? Also, I mean, there's so many things that you just mentioned that I guess I have questions about. One, the
She probably thinks it's like a movie about ballet dancers.
Maybe isn't as well versed in this topic. How would it affect the stock market? Something in outer space.
Right. So we all know about the dinosaurs that were killed by a giant rock the size of Manhattan Island.
We all know about dinosaurs.
The stock market
Right.
a treat.
Yeah, well, look, come on, man. I got a lot of friends that work in the stock
The futures
market.
in clubs went right down.
I got a lot of friends that work in the stock market, right, the market traders and that. I love your pieces, but I mean, it's a pretty accurate comparison, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
a pretty accurate comparison. It's just so stuck into the business. I don't look up from it and go, "Oh, I wasted my life,"
Crazy.
66 million years ago, that was unexpected. The dinosaurs felt very proud of themselves dominating Earth, but they didn't look up.
Wait,
and this
again,
rock
I love that one. They felt really proud of themselves, that's one thing in Attenborough things, right?
Yeah.
I always remember from growing up as a kid, these ancient bones still hold the pride of that T-Rex for eating that bloody Triceratops. I'm sure the pride was really high on
sure it
dinosaurs'
was.
agenda. Right?
killed them. Now, that's a risk for humanity as well, and we think that we can prevent such a damage by monitoring rocks that may come close to Earth. But that assumes that these are rocks, that we can forecast how they will behave. Just imagine alien technology, some spacecraft
Ancient rocks.
that can maneuver in ways that we cannot anticipate. It's much more complicated, and of course, if we ever encounter that, it's a blind date of interstellar proportions. You don't know who is on the other side. Of course, you're hoping that it's a friendly visitor, but it could be a serial killer. So there will be
What?
Again, on a rock.
So wait, we've gone from blind dates to we want someone nice to come out to a serial killer.
Yeah.
What? Dude, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
I know he's got to explain himself quite in simple layman's terms for the ladies, but
The analogy is brilliant. I think he carries it on here as well.
probably
sense
does.
of urgency and uncertainty, just like you see a visitor to your backyard and the concern is the visitor will show up in your front door, so you have to worry about what to do in a short time, and that would involve, of course, policymakers and politicians. But as a scientist, the first thing that I can alert to is to at least consider the possibility that we might see a visitor from interstellar space that could be potentially, associated with alien
A serial
technology.
killer.
Yeah.
Potentially a blind date serial killer could turn up from outer space is what I'm getting
Things
from
could
this.
be worse.
I don't know. I mean, the girls did. They're going to look pretty vacant when he comes back.
So that we monitor those
See?
things and collect as much
There
evidence.
you go. They're like,
What is he on about?
Well, I heard blind date. Like, well, are we going out? I can only have I can only have brown bread.
Because in a blind date, my advice to anyone that goes on a blind date is first observe the other side as much as you can before you have an opinion, before you say
Words,
anything.
Avi.
And that's what we should do in this case.
Like, what are you trying to tell us, Avi?
Oh, he's trying to take Cilla Black's job, isn't he?
Do you know how many? Did you notice that article the other week about like the number of people on Grindr in like government agencies and stuff like that? I'm trying to wonder that Avi.
He's doing a bit of speed dating now.
No, I think you're right. And again, I think actually you're right on several things from last week as well that we'll come back to later on. Right? That like he is trying to put it into some sort of analogy that these two can understand.
Yeah, but
like, that's probably one of the worst ones you can do.
Terrible, isn't it? I mean, even Brian Cox wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, it's also like that Freudian thing, isn't it? Like, what blind dates are you going on where you meet a serial killer, but happen to just be wandering around your back garden that's now in your front door?
You don't want a serial killer out your back alley, that's
one hell of a story. Now, he went on, I think, because this is the thing. Guess who's scared? That's what I was going to say, is that, like, you know, this, what's going on with the fear economy here? What's with the fear mechanics?
It's not really out there, is it? It's there if you look for it, this. Any mainstream news, even on a quiet down ITV news or Sly News, right at the tail end, the drop dead donkey moment, there's not even... And news for space travellers. Nothing's been said about it. Very, very quiet. So the fear economy, I would say, it's fairly low, unless you're Avi Loeb on the stock market.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And he's going to have a 9/11 moment and bet against American Airlines.
Well, yeah, it's the thing. Like, and the black swan, the use of that term and things like... But, you know, there's a little bit more of him in here.
What should we be preparing for? You mentioned the stock market. Is there anything we can do to kind of brace?
The stock market.
Sell, buy.
Yeah, I mean, again, obviously it's scripted, right? But they're biting. They're biting for the stock market thing, which, again, like, in the past, when we've had, I don't know, there's this event in like 2001 that really, really affected the stock market. Yeah. There's all these weird little things leading up to that event that kind of like insinuated there might be something coming either to a particular financial district in New York or the stock market as a whole, right? And now we have this for a rock, essentially.
It would be interesting, I'll say, to watch happening in the markets.
Well, yes.
Because they probably know more than we do.
For this, because that could potentially be terrifying or even catastrophic.
I'm scared.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in the context of intelligence agencies, you know, they are always prepared for low probability events with huge implications, because when you don't prepare for that, you are surprised, and that could be quite dangerous. However, we were never prepared for this kind of a scenario. We always thought about rocks coming from the sky. These are meteors, and I completely agree with you that we should change.
Asterix feels. You know what I mean? You remember in Asterix where it's like fearing the rocks falling from the sky, or the sky falling on their head.
Because right now we are entering a new era. There is the Rubin Observatory in Chile that will find interstellar visitors every few months, and so we should be ready for such a situation. And the question is, what kind of plan should we make in case we notice some alien technology? I sent a white paper submitted to the United Nations, the International Astronomical Union, bringing up this point.
Last week we mentioned that. Yeah, that if you want to go back and check on last week's podcast, and we also referenced Dobsonian Power, who covered this as well. There was the update to the first contact protocol, right? And Avi Loeb there mentioning that he sent a white paper to the United Nations, who are the guys that are implied in that new protocol to be the only people that are allowed to communicate with an alien species if they
Well, it would make sense rather than Trump, wouldn't it, really?
His
diplomacy's probably not been the best of recent, has it, really?
No, it's really great.
Stop the war.
We got the aliens, they've come down, we've done a deal, we're going to build ourselves a Riviera on their planet. I just want to say this couldn't have been done without you. Get up, Miriam. Get up, Miriam.
She's always
Roger love more, Miriam. Earth for the aliens. It's going to be huge. That would be fun. Actually, you know, again, there's so many things that you could pull out of this. Like, for example, you know, Mars attacks. You know, like, he could be the ideal president for a Mars attack situation.
He's the ideal president for something, not quite sure.
Yeah, well, I think Miriam does.
I think she does. Yeah, keeping her husband out.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Let's let Avi finish on his.
Go on, Avi. Get in, my friend.
But I do think, realistically speaking, that the politicians will take it seriously after the first encounter, and then we will have to.
I think politicians would take it seriously after the first encounter. I'm pretty sure you would. It's like we were saying about the awfuls like last week, right? The affluent white female liberals, right? They're like all for let's flood any given like small sleepy suburb or village with like infinity undocumented men of fighting age from I don't know, Eritrea or something like that. And like, they don't take it seriously. No. But their first encounter where they get the crap beaten out of them or being told, like last week.
They suddenly understand.
Suddenly we understand.
They get it.
It seems as though the politicians are all the same, man. It's not until like an alien just turns up and literally wipes us out of the planet before they'll take it seriously. Okay, Avi.
An alert system that includes probes in the outer solar system that alert us to any incoming technological object, and then we have to decide how to deal with it. Should we intercept them? And my view on that is that it really depends on the details of what these visitors are. We have to figure them out.
I would think so. I would think it would
make a big difference, that.
Possible about them, and come close to any of them and take some close-up photographs to infer what they are about. And but it may well be that if they are representing technologies far more advanced than ours, that we won't be able to do much, and then it will introduce a lot of uncertainty about the implications. And it's something we haven't discussed in the past, but now I think we should.
I think we should.
He's lost them. I mean, look at their blank faces.
Yeah, they are.
That is above their pay grade. Yeah. Several levels above their pay grade.
But notice how quickly she's like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
It's like, because my husband, has all of those, various derivatives across the globe and, little holding account out there in the Maldives, But yeah, so there's Avi and like, I mean, that was a bit of a soup of very little, wasn't it?
Yeah, really. It was. People that can talk for 10 minutes and tell you very little.
Yeah.
Any substance.
It really wasn't substantive. And, it just leaves you, again, with more questions than anything else. So we're not getting anything substantially interesting from even someone like Avi. I mean, like, essentially all he's saying is, like,
we don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is, but hey, why not fuel the fire of... Because I said this to a good lady driver, like, this morning, actually. It's like, back in the day, you used to have the National Enquirer or News of the World or whatever, right? Yeah.
Well, you got the Sun. That's hiding behind the Sun.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. But like, no, there's also this website that was called Before It's News.
Yeah.
And it was just like full of the craziest nonsense, like Nibiru, Planet X, all this stuff. And like, there's always a silly season, isn't it? Like this time of year is usually silly season when these things crank up. And I'm looking around, I'm like, hold on a second, like, it's gone mainstream.
Yeah.
It's actually gone mainstream because like now we've got like these fairly, I mean, look, they're valid ideals and valid suggestions and valid propositions. But again, it's like, but we've already got all this stuff out there that should have been looking at it.
Yeah.
And
what do we put that stuff up there for?
Give us the information.
Yeah.
Like, just give us the damn info and like start disseminating that info. And it just, again, the mainstream does seem to be, for a start, like I say, of questionable like authority over what they're speaking, and also of questionable information on what they're questionably informed. And we'll try and breeze through quickly, like with Michio Kaku here. There's another face that people will probably recognize. Michio Kaku is being all over the place talking about all sorts of things, despite the fact his specialism doesn't necessarily apply to it, like so many other people. Who's the other one? Tyson DeGrassi, what's his face? Yeah, like that guy who literally has no real business speaking scientifically about anything. But Michio Kaku, he's had like quite an illustrious career. He's been on Discovery Channel. He's a face people recognize. So here we are with Tiago, Dobsonian Power, we were talking about last week and watched last week, and he's following it right now with his scopes. His scopes are up there, like waiting for any moment to see anything.
Yeah.
You know, when a lot of the pictures he's produced, even that we watched last week, are better than what NASA's been putting out.
Well, they've been releasing anyway.
Yeah,
Probably got a full HD version.
Well, that's the thing. That like, I think didn't Avi even like say it there? Like, yeah, these are extremely high resolution cameras on high rise, but we haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
Instead of shouting out why, he's just saying, no, we just haven't seen them.
Yeah,
like,
they're just waiting to polish them, burnish them a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're one of these boss men of the industry or the field, then surely you should be kicking up a fuss and saying, why aren't we getting the data? Yeah, you know, let's see what Michio has to say about
Quantum Supremacy, Michio Kaku. So this mystery object has been added to the International Asteroid Warning Network.
Okay, so where do we start with? Doomsaying again, right?
Exactly.
International Asteroid Warning Network. Okay,
that's the one.
And just for people for the knowledge or lack of knowledge of what that is, you know, it's a system that just warns you about stuff that might, you know, potentially collide with Earth.
Yes. Which there has been numerous things.
Yeah, but again, if we take like the trajectory that we just saw in Avi Loeb's video, there, like, you know, this thing's heading out towards towards Jupiter,
yeah,
right?
I've got a chance.
So how is it going to suddenly whip into us?
No, well, because it's been steered by the aliens, of course.
Well,
bit of reverse.
Well, let's. Well, I would say let's hear Michio say that. But,
for the ones that don't know, weird things are being happening, and even the planetary defense system was activated right now. He's talking about that. He didn't tell the name, but he's talking about that. When you will listen, Michio, when he talk about now we will track from the perihelion that will be in the 29. He says 30. For some people will be 29 to 30, more or less there. Another clue that they don't have a clue about the position, exact position. So they activated the planetary system. So they asked for help. NASA asked for help for astronomers to help them to track the movement. Astrometry, it's what they are going to do, is to track the movements, the speed, if it breaks or not, if it, you know, the shape of it, if it's possible, and the orbit.
Let's clarify, and apologies for the sound there. It might have been a bit loud when Thiago came straight in there. Like, so did you hear what he said there? They're asking amateurs to perform astrometry.
Yeah.
Why?
Do we not have the correct people and
I mean, look, you could go down the path of, like, you know, all our satellites and rovers and landers are all just bullshit. That is one thing that people out there have been suggesting.
Are we poo-pooing the moon landings now? So,
we will get back to that on another episode. You mentioned it last episode already, right? But like, I mean, seriously, again, we're getting to a limit here. I know NASA is shut down. I mean, you've got a government shut down. Well, again, with Trump and his pride over the Space Force and dominating space, so we're going to build a Riviera on the moon. You know, it's all about Rivieras with him, man.
He loves a Riviera.
Vegas to the moon, baby. Let's go.
The thing is, these things shut down. It makes me laugh, like in this country, Parliament closed for summer.
Yeah.
So they're running the country. There can be riots. There can be all sorts of mayhem. No, we're on holiday, mate. No, we're not coming back. Wait till mid-October. We'll come back mid-October. And
yeah, like, I mean, the fact that they even get like a holiday of that nature is ridiculous. You know, it's just but no. I mean,
we digress.
What I'm getting at there, though, we've got the ESA, we've got the CSO, the Chinese, you know, space agent. Russia have stuff, like, Afghanistan have stuff, bro. Like, you know, like, and Kazakhstan has like a huge launch pad.
But do you think it's a case of none of these countries actually want to admit what they can see?
This is the interesting thing. This is again why this is fueling so much. And like I say, there's like a hyperbole economy behind it and a fear economy behind it that I'm finding just absolutely crazy, because it's like, this thing is a rock. But we'll continue. I might skip like to the end of this video because it's just crazy.
So they will try to, now that after that closest approach on the 29th, in November, it will start to be visible again from regular telescopes, not solar. We will be watching you live, guys, with my telescope, or Chris Green from Texas, that is our explorer that usually collaborates here with me, and we will show you the pictures. Unless it's super cloudy, there on Texas, here as well, and we have nobody, you know. But if it's possible, we will show you real-time views again of 3i Atlas after Perihelion. If it passes, as I think it will do.
And I would suggest you do. Like, this guy's got good content and a range of telescopes, and the other explorers that he talks about, they also have some pretty incredible equipment. You're going to get better information than NASA.
Probes or whatever. It's a bit risky to tell that. It's a bit bold. I won't tell that. Actually, I think they will not send anything. It's a probe, and that's it.
That's the first interstellar object ever to make that list. So I got to ask you, what the heck is 3i Atlas, and why the clouds of mystery around it? NASA's like tight-lipped.
Well, let me tell you.
Why do you
I don't know. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that could be the other aspect, right? Is like, because they don't have a damn clue, maybe they don't want to talk about it and just prove that they don't have a damn clue what the hell it is.
No one's got a clue, have they?
This is the thing. A split in the astronomical community.
The two sides. But I think it's not as he's saying, because they said it was a comet. Now I'm seeing mainstream people saying, because it can be an asteroid. No, you said it was a comet 100% since the first day. Actually, it has a designation C/2025 N1. That's the designation as a placed in the first minute in July, in the 1st of July. So we can eat that narrative like that, swallow. It's a comet, period, go away. But they forgot that we search for the truth. And the truth is that it has 14 anomalies, 15 now.
And it's going to come through our solar system for the first time and then come whizzing back out again. It's the third known object from outside our solar system. So what's the fuss? Another faction, however, says, now, wait a minute. Perhaps this is a visitor.
Look how he changes. He spent 1 second in the mainstream because they have no argument. What's the fuss?
Right.
The fuss?
I mean, in one sense, he has a point there, yeah, like, he very quickly breezes over. But again, it's like, it could just be, again, like, this narrative they want to push on it. Like, because again, listen to Michio, look at his face and like the way he's at. This guy's reading the script, man.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a very similar script to Avi Loeb's one as well, you know?
15 fusses here.
Yeah, 15 fusses. So the 15 anomalies, including all the stuff we mentioned last week with the different like compositions of it and like the gases are changing color,
An
etc.
intelligent visitor from another solar system. And perhaps this week we could have a test of it. That's right.
We can have a test of it. Pay attention to this. We can have a test of it. A test.
This week, it turns out that the asteroid or comet will be whizzing around our sun. And if
Wait. An asteroid or a comet? Isn't it a comet? You were saying all this time.
Again, like, this is a valid point. Up until this point, in this last 48 hours, has been a comet. Categorically. But now, asteroid or comet, both of them have said that now. So you see, again, this lockstep narrative thing going on.
Liars. Don't lie to us. We are not idiots.
it picks up extra energy on its flyby, that would clinch it. That means there's extraterrestrial intelligence involved. So watch for it. On October 30th,
you know,
watch for it.
I'm gonna slightly challenge that as well, right? Just because it picks up, so again, define what he means. Picking up energy or momentum, acceleration, velocity, right? If it accelerates out from the sun, again, does that really indicate that they, someone deliberately steered into it and boosted out, or could it actually be this thing's doing 30 miles a second, bro? Like, it's the fastest thing we've seen come through. That's pretty damn fast to be.
We don't know how it's going to behave. You know how certain things behave.
Think of it this way, like, you know how you skim a stone off of the sea. Imagine like something coming in so fast that like it's the fastest thing to come through our solar system like that. and it hits the gravity of sun, but it's just like, wait, yeah, I can take a 3-degree angle change and go straight out the other end with a bit of speed.
Yeah.
No alien interaction whatsoever. No intellect or intelligent interference whatsoever. So again, this is kind of a reach in some aspects.
Starting then, we're going to track it to see whether it gets an extra boost of energy. If so,
we will track it to see if it will have an extra boost of energy. What he's talking about is precisely one of the anomalies I said to you. That position behind the sun, not hidden, but behind the sun, that closest approach that will happen in 3 days means, on physics, means that is the fastest moment with the fastest speed that the object has, 3i Atlas, and at the same time, it's the lower power of the sun in that moment because of the gravity, and they are closest. So the sun will have less power in that moment, and 3i Atlas will have the gravity assist, they call, the opportunity with that high speed to boost and do a slingshot effect. It's crazy, guys.
Now I'm just going to jump to the end here because this is quite a long video, but I think we're getting
the possibility and knowledge to know that a human probe, was crossing their sky. Probably.
So what he's saying here at the end here is that basically, and this I subscribe to this a little bit as well because immediately I thought the Star Trek 4 birth minute. Obviously, they use it to go back in time, but also Star Trek 1 and the probe in Star Trek 4 that we mentioned last week. They're coming through. Now, Star Trek 1, the principle was it was Voyager, right? We sent Voyager out, which, funnily enough, is the direction this thing's coming from, where we sent the Voyager probe, Voyager 1 out to, right? And obviously, Voyager returns and it's looking for the creator. Are you the creator? I need the creator. Yeah, and the thing is, it's built along the way. Like it's gained knowledge, it's gained technology, and all of that. And what Tiago's saying here is essentially, what's to say that Voyager, millions of years in the future, doesn't do exactly the same thing? Flies through one of their solar systems, but they haven't got the opportunity to observe it. And even if they could observe it, they don't have the opportunity to communicate with it or anything like that. It would be exactly the same principle as what we're seeing here, right? So I'll let them just finish that up.
Unique moment, and they lost the chance of knowing that they are not alone in the universe because the guy that was stubborn and didn't want to open the mind for the possibility of that probe that was alien for them. It was human, so alien for them. And the guy was stubborn and didn't want to check. So they lost that opportunity.
They lost that opportunity. So briefly, that's basically what he was getting at. Is that, Voyager goes past and they didn't have the technology, or if they did have the technology as he was finishing there, having people that are so arrogant that they think they know better, so they don't release the information. Yeah. It takes me back to, who was it? Was it Galileo?
Back on Queen again, aren't we?
Figaro.
Yeah.
But do you know the story of Galileo? How he was basically regarded as a heretic, and he was saying, this is how the planets are, and there's an extra planet, and there's solar system and all that. And they're like, you're mental, and shut you down.
There's a lot to it,
and an awful lot of his stuff was also destroyed. And again. Interesting fact is to remember who did this. It was the church.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the church slamming down and saying it's blasphemous,
Yeah. Questions God or a higher being or a greater force.
Well, again, this is a big factor to all of this 3i Atlas thing as well. As a lot of people have been going, it's prophecy, relating it to seeing stars in the sky and men dreaming. Like in Revelation, which again will tie into the Charlie Kirk thing, and the burning of the red heifers that we mentioned last week as well. So there you go.
We look into the. I was talking about this the other week. Still watching this ancient apocalypse thing on Discovery. The Mayan calendar.
Yes,
was saying in a window of 80 years, and we're in this window now. There's the fourth incarnation of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's the third. That was the third world we're in at the moment, and this is going to be the fourth. There's going to be a major apocalypse. So if you believe all that, and they weren't silly. You look at some of the stuff they did. Everything aligns. Yeah. All these things in the world when they were supposed to be subhuman and very basic people. Went to the bother of aligning everything, so when the summer solstice comes up, it shines through the window, hits a precise corner in the temple.
Stonehenge.
Very, very clever. Very clever people.
Yeah, indeed. But when it comes to this, I mean, I don't know, like I said, I'm looking out the window, I'm not seeing an awful lot. I mean, people are still attributing the weather that we're seeing. Obviously, there's that terrible storm going on in Jamaica that's just wiping that out. Yeah. And
it always happens, doesn't it? You always get.
Well, we've had an awful lot of coronal mass ejection events as well, which have like linked in with 3i Atlas. And you know, they're saying, oh, you know, we could have like blackouts and all this, but as far as I'm aware, we're still online. We're still live. Yeah, you know, things are still happening. So
we're not going to be plunged in the dark ages just yet. I don't think.
But I mean, that's just like, you know, a bit there to sort of go, well, it's kind of here and it's kind of going. I feel like it's kind of here, it's kind of going. Yeah, we're probably not really ever going to get anything satisfactory out of this.
It'll come and go before we know about it. They won't have discovered anything about it.
If they do have anything to follow it up on, I reckon it's going to be, well, we actually collected a lot of great data on this thing, and here it is retrospectively. You know, but I don't think at this stage. Hey, I could be proven wrong. Like between. You know, right now and tomorrow this time, you know, something may have happened. It may have come all the way around us on, like, you know, to handbrake turn towards us. But, you know, right now, I feel if there is any life on that thing, it's Crichton saying, "You sure, sir? That does mean changing the light bulb to blue." You know, and they're on their way home, you know? So, but that, you know, I think that fairly much wraps that up.
I think it does. Yeah,
there's not really much going on with it.
In lieu of the stock market collapsing, and that's not saying anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like again, like to blame it on 3i Atlas is certainly an interesting play.
Yeah,
it's a bold play.
Safe blame on COVID, doesn't it? You know.
Well, that did work as well, didn't it?
Yeah, so Ukraine and the oil prices and invasion of Russia. It's all the same.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
So
we'll still be this time next week. No worries about that.
So, well, we'll see. We'll see. I never say never, but honestly, I do honestly think this is just like a piece of space junk that's heading out the other way with really interesting properties. Again, it would be nice if we actually did properly study it. And get some actual proper information out of it. Instead of this hyperbolicism, which is a recurring theme in tonight's show, because our next segment is going to be very much about hyperbolic reaction, hyperbolicism in the cave.